No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Yes, how we doing? Happy Thursday to you here at Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com. We're in the Western Collective Studios. Hope you picked up the Golden Ale or the Orange Chaos Seltzer at Albertson Stadium last week. They'll be available again at 5 o'clock Saturday for the Utah State game at Albertson Stadium. And again, as always, sporting the hat today, our title sponsor, RowPaint.com, ROEPaint.com. All your painting needs. And remember, there would be no Bronco Nation News without RowPaint.com. So make sure you check them out next time you're looking at that concrete coating or painting project. We've got an official businessman joining us today. Company Polo Hall, Brad Bedell joins us. We switched the days up to Thursday. I know you're rocking and rolling with the new job, Brad. If anybody needs some uniform apparel, make sure you hit up Brad in game one for custom uniforms for your youth baseball team and all that fun stuff. But Brad, appreciate you for joining us, man. How's it going?
No, it's going great. No, I appreciate your flexibility and things like that with this week. It won't happen very often, but yeah, rocking and rolling, getting out to the high schools, reintroducing myself to everybody, and it's a lot of fun. It is. It's a lot like recruiting. You get in there and you're trying to help others, do their jobs and things like that. So I love it. Great week last week, another one this week, and there's some things to talk about, because how about this one? The more you win, the more pressure mounts.
Oh, no doubt. We've talked about that a lot. And yeah, it was funny because yesterday there was great viewership, and John Mallory was wondering why so many people were tuning in to listen to him, and I said no, they thought Brad was on. Right. We'll get it rolling today. We are going to break down some clips. I know that's been something that we've tried to do when we can, and folks have really enjoyed that. So we've got a couple Ashton Jeanty runs. We're going to show a couple sacks from the defense as well that we'll get to. But so we'll let the viewership continue to build before we dive into the film study here in a few minutes. But you mentioned it, Brad. I mean, every game, every win, whether it be Ashton Jeanty continuing to do what he do, that adds more viewers to Boise State games, whether it's just the team continuing to win. I saw the ESPN, whatever metric they use for the group of 5, Boise State continues to, add a little more percentage to be in that group of 5 representative in the playoff. I think it's up to 38% now, and the next team's somewhere in the 20s. This Saturday, I know, is one of those games where you're a 25-point favorite or whatever it is. You're supposed to win big. You're at home, and, you're coming off a huge win against Washington State. You got the road trip to Hawaii next week. Like, I don't want to use – I'll use the word letdown game. I mean, this would be one of those kind of trap letdown type games, I would think. But how does this team, and if they want to get to their goals, continue to treat every game the same, every opponent the same, and not try to stub their toe here?
I think it comes down to really is your standard and the culture in that building, and what Spencer and the staff is doing is, hey, listen, it doesn't matter who we play, which everybody knows who you're playing, of course, but it's like, here's the standard. They've set the standard for over 250 yards a game rushing. That's the standard, right? That is a big standard, right? And so now it's like you have to hold the standard, which is those rushing statistics. Now, okay, which we've talked about a little bit in the past, is, okay, what's not meeting the standard, right? So passing game, we need some more explosives. We need to get some others going, things like that. So we need to get this going where we're not meeting our goals, right? Offensively, defensively, and then special teams. If you can take care of that, it doesn't matter who you play. And then you also got to talk about, like, when you're coming in, last week's over. Here's a great example. Washington State, who Boise State just throttled. Okay, well, they played Washington in a big emotional win. Supposedly great atmosphere, great this, great that. San Jose takes them into 2 overtimes. I believe it's San Jose, right? Am I going nuts?
Very next week, yep.
So San Jose takes them to 2 overtimes. So that right there, that's a trap situation. You're like, the players are coming up, well, we just beat Washington. We won the Apple Cup. It was emotional. Kids are riding high. You're getting all of this on campus. The teachers are saying, God, what a great win. This is awesome, yada, yada. And all of a sudden, boom, wake-up call, San Jose State's going to take you to 3 overtimes. So you have to avoid that, and that's going to take leadership in the locker room and a staff saying, hey, this is the standard. If you don't meet the standard, get off the field. Just get out. I'm going to get somebody else in for a series or 2 that's going to meet the standard, and then we're going to take it from there.
And I hate to, put it in these kind of terms, but I think most fans watching you guys would agree. I mean, like, they've got no margin for error. Like, another loss and they're done from the playoff. A lot of things would have to fall their way. I guess I wouldn't say it's 0% chance. If all those teams they're competing with lost again, then I guess you're okay. But to control, I feel they kind of, I know there's a couple undefeated still group of 5 teams, but I feel like they kind of control their own destiny here. If Boise State wins out and wins the Mountain West and they're 12-1 and their one loss is a 3-point loss to Oregon, like, I would be very shocked if they're not in the playoff, like, regardless of what else happens. And so I feel like they can kind of control their own destiny, but it's kind of like those old Boise State teams in the past where it was like, you got it if you keep winning, but one loss and you're done. And so, as you said, each game the pressure is going to mount, and certainly the next 2 weeks are big, and then you get that bye week, and then obviously the quote unquote game of the year to this point will be at UNLV in a couple of weeks. But there's not a lot of games that you look at on paper right now and go, oh, that's going to be a tough one for them to win. Like, they're going to be double-digit favorites, and we're going to be having this conversation in most of the games that are left. And so it's just it reminded me of some of those, whether it be the WAC days or the early days where it was like, yeah, they're just on paper head and shoulders better than almost every team they're going to play the rest of the season. The UNLV game's going to be tough. Nevada's going to come in and I get it, give you what you want. San Diego State, you got Oregon State, but again, all those are at home, and your road games are at Wyoming and at Hawaii and at San Jose. Like, there's it's a pretty manageable schedule here if you can get by a couple of these games. But so I feel like we're going to be having this conversation a lot.
Oh, I think we are too, and I think and the other thing we don't want to do is people within Boise and in the areas. I get the feeling that that's what we want to talk about as UNLV, because that's the next big one, right? Well, you can't.
Uh-oh. Not sure if that's my internet or Brad's, but I think we lost Brad. There he is. There you are.
So, yeah, next thing you know, that makes the UNLV game even bigger. So it's like, let's talk about a Utah State team coming in here that, in my opinion, in statistically and things like that, they got a lot of things to work on. And then what you got to do, what a lot of people don't want to do, is travel to Hawaii on the Rock. And so that creates an issue. But we can get to that later. And then you got the bye, and then you got the big one. So, I also would expect that the more they win, the bigger the atmosphere should get too. Because now it's I think Boise State Bronco Nation could go into UNLV and have more fans at UNLV than UNLV does. That's a big stadium. That holds a lot of people. So they're going to have a lot of open seats. Now, UNLV has also got to go to Syracuse this weekend. And so there's a lot of things that have to happen, but you control your own destiny by winning football games and handling the pressure that the kids are going to put on themselves as we get down the line. But if you want it all to go the way, you lose a game. And that's the fact of the matter. And so you got to concentrate on a Utah State team coming to town and choke them out, take them out, and move on.
And I said yesterday, like, that atmosphere was amazing at Washington State, but like it needs to be the same or even better against Utah State, like, which is hard to do. It's 5:00 at the team you're supposed to win by 4 touchdowns. So I could, it's just human nature for fans, everybody. You're not going to be, it's how you just expect to win this game. And so, but I mean, you had this record crowd, the students stayed, like that needs, like, as you said, that needs to keep building. And I think with Ashton Jeanty, it will. Like, I do think, like, when you have a generational type, superstar like you do in Ashton Jeanty, like, you only get 4 more games to see him on the blue, maybe 5 with a championship. Like, you only get a certain number of times to see him. And as we said last week, like, when Boise State has the ball nowadays, you ain't hurrying to the restroom now. I mean, you want to see what Ashton Jeanty can do every single time he touches the ball. So I do think that excitement level for him is going to help. And you want to see him put up his stats necessarily more than being worrying about them losing the game when some of these blowouts, like there's still intrigue in the Utah State game. Cause it's like, in a normal week, it's like, they're supposed to win by 4 touchdowns. Now it's like, Ashton Jeanty may get 4 by himself. Like, let's see what he can do. So I do think the Ashton Jeanty factor is going to help with interest, help with fans, help with all that stuff. And we need to soak in every second we can, because we're going to get to the film of him here in a minute. But we need to soak in every second we can of Ashton Jeanty here in Boise.
There's no doubt. Not to mention, I didn't do the math, but we can also witness Jeanty getting to 1,000 yards in 5 games.
Which as you found this big stat too,
which would tie him as he will be I believe the 11th player in the history of college football to get to 1,000 yards in 5 games. Fournette, Barry Sanders. I mean, the list is very Marshall Falk. It's very distinguished, very good football players. And then the other thing is you got to, when we're going to get to the film here in a minute, but it's what Boise State football right now is a little fun, because you have your offensive guys, and everybody's going to be an offensive guy to watch Jeanty run the ball. But there are some fans out there that just love defensive football and things like that, which now you got a defense that's leading the country in sacks at 20 sacks. I mean, that came, I didn't even realize that was happening. That came on me quick. And it also helps an 8-sack statistic versus Washington State, right? But now you've got people like, they're excited to get the defense on the field. Just sack, ring them up. It's like there almost needs to be a ring in the stadium. Every time a sack goes, just ring the bell, okay? It's like the SEAL team. Make them quit. Yep. Quitting, ring the bell. Ring the bell. And so I honestly think that the brand that they're playing and the level they're playing right now is good with there's a lot. I agree with Spencer. There's a lot of improvement that can happen. And we haven't seen the depth and the talent of this football team at all positions yet. And that's like, Coach Cutter said it right. There's only one ball. Everybody wants the ball, right? And he said that he missed a couple of balls. He missed some wide open guys, things like that. But, we're going to start seeing, I think, some other guys step up. And we've been saying that for a long time. And I know people are trying to hear about it or tired of hearing about it and who's it going to be and all that. But it has to come. And we're going to get to the film in a minute. But Ashton Jeanty is breaking the one-on-one tackle. And so he's just going to hand the ball off. And I thought he said it right. Navy, Air Force, and Boise State football is going to be a run-first team.
Yeah. Dirk Cutter said it's Navy, Army, and Boise State or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But they're playing them cover one. They're doing schematically. What's very impressive, and everybody's seen it, is it's the amount of tackles broken. What he's doing is unheard of. He is. When I was getting ready for this segment here, I was showing my wife last night. I was like, "Look at this run," and she's like, "Oh my God!" I said, "Oh, I'm not done. Look at this run." She's like, "They can't tackle him," and I was like, "Yeah, that's why I feel a little bit bad for Schmeds after that game because they had the players, they had the position."
Yeah, they were in their fits. They actually were in good position a lot of times to make the tackles.
He just is better, and I told her, I was like, "This is a kid." In a player that you're going to see, he's in the same sentence as you already said it. We're not going to see another one in a long time. And we have talent, but there's difference. It's like walking on the field saying he's better than everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, he's like, we're talking about Heisman finalists, all this, like he's legit putting himself where like, he's like, I don't think he's quite there yet, but we're going to get to a point where he may be a lock for a first-round NFL draft pick. Like he's going to be one of those generational type players here. I mean, Doug Martin went late in the first round, but I've seen a lot of mock drafts that have him already in the top 20. I mean, I'm not ready to say he's a lock yet, but if he continues at even close to this pace, there's a decent chance he's going to be a first-round NFL draft pick.
I do. I think he has the opportunity to be a first-round draft pick, but the one thing, he'll have the statistics to be the first-round draft pick.
Yep.
He'll have the statistics to be the best running back in the draft.
Yep.
But when it gets to the draft, some GMs want a 6'1" running back.
And I have heard that. I bumped into a scout in the press box before the last game, and they did kind of say, he's definitely day 2. Not quite sure about day 1.
And that's not skill. It's not a knock on him. It's the fact of a matter is some running backs, some coaches, some GMs, they want 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", and I think it's stupid. I'm the first one to say it. I think it's dumb. I played in that league. Darren Sproles was a hell of a running back in the National Football League. He's 5'5", right? But for some reason, we have this in the mind of the NFL is if he's not 6'1" or 6'2", he's not very durable. The guy's made of muscle. That's not the durability issue. He can't take hits because he's not 6'1", 6'2". He doesn't have length for protection. I mean, we're not judging offensive linemen. We're judging running backs.
Yep.
And it's the NFL, and statistically he will be there. He just needs the right fit in the first round to fall to that team that doesn't care or has had a lot of success with running backs that aren't as tall.
And for Boise, like going crazy about day 2. Day 2, if you're not aware, is second and third round. So second or third round. So you could be a first pick of the second round and just miss the first round and be picked 33, but not go till quote day 2. So day 2 is second and third round. Then you have 4 through 7 on day 3. So we'll, again, a Pro Football Focus mock draft has them going number 12 to the Chargers and Harbaugh. Reunite with Matlock, full block to block for him. Can you imagine that? Again, a lot of football still to be played. Let's get to some of the film breakdown here and talk about it. First, I do want to thank a couple of our sponsors. Western Collective, again, the Horseshoe Golden Ale beer, and now the new Orange Chaos Seltzer. I'm hearing rave reviews about the new seltzer, the Orange Chaos. It's available at Albertson Stadium or most of your local retailers. Make sure you support our studio sponsor here and check out the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the Orange Chaos Seltzer. You can visit both their locations in Garden City and downtown Boise. Our title sponsor, roepaint.com. All your painting needs, make sure you check them out, roepaint.com. All your painting needs, roepaint.com. Those concrete coatings, I highly recommend them for that back patio, the garage, basement, that ugly-looking concrete slab. You can transform it in one day at roepaint.com. ICCU.com. Check them out, Idaho Central Credit Union. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that app in your smartphone, their mobile e-branch online banking system. So easy to use. So happy the Rains family made the switch. We have our business, personal accounts there, and I highly, highly recommend it. You may think you enjoy your banking experience, but you'll realize what you're missing at ICCU. Matt Bauscher, congrats. He's now part of the Boise State home team, and he had a huge tailgate for the last game. I heard a lot of folks that went over there. Matt told me somebody moved down from Seattle and used him to buy a home and said it was because of Bronco Nation News, and they have been hearing about him. So we appreciate that and hope you will do the same. 243-8222, BauscherRealEstate.com. Check them out, the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. And again, folks, when you use the sponsors like Matt, make sure you let them know you heard about it on Bronco Nation News. ShopRidleys.com, 13 locations across the state of Idaho. Love that hometown grocery store feel when you walk in. Friendly staff, great prices. Again, ShopRidleys.com. Ridley's Family Markets, whether it's Treasure Valley, Magic Valley, up in McCall, everywhere in between. Check them out at Ridley's Family Markets. And Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game, thespateam.com. You looking for a pool table for the game room, a sauna, a spa for the back patio, they got it all covered for you. A billiards table, whether it's shuffleboard, and obviously their spa selection is unmatched. Check them out. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978. Part of the Boise State home team. Check them out online at thespateam.com. All right, let's see if we can make this work here. I'm going to add this to the stage. I think I pulled it off here. All right, so
Perfect.
Let us know what we got going on here. This is the first touchdown of the game. I don't know if you want to set it up or play it first and then come back and stop it or what you want to do. This was the first touchdown of the game for Ashton Jeanty.
Well, if you look at it right here, let's look at the linebacker over the center. So because the running back is pistol, right, Nevada offense, he's going to go even with it. Okay, they're going to run inside zone here. The key things to look at besides the running back is the backside double team with the tight end and tackle, which is going to be a right tackle and wing tight end. And then the center is going to overrun it to the 3, but this what makes him special is the ability on the backside to get movement to create the cutback lane. And the other thing is when the O-line outruns it, the back needs to miss or make somebody miss in the hole. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. So hit play. Let's see what cooks. So right there, your center's overran it, right? So you got a mid-zone, center's overran it. You can see 72s. He's out of relationship, okay, with that will linebacker, okay, which, great, that's fine. The right guard does a great job keeping and driving, cutting the penetration off and washing that young man by. You can already see this is the center's playing, saying, "Oh no." Now I know he's saying, "Oh no," it's probably.
But you're still not looking at this run right now, thinking it's about to be a 64-yard touchdown.
You're looking at a -1 yard gain. But if you hit play, boom, done. Okay, he misses the tackle. The young man that came from right to left, he's coming in to make that tackle. That is his tackle. Okay, he has got to have support on a cutback lane. He's coming right there. He's right in front of the referee. And as you hit play right now, he's just going to bounce off right there. That he's corralled. He's done. No. Okay. Spins gets out of that. That young man comes in and he literally tries to wrap up, but he bounces off of him. Done. Now, this is the other great look at the vision that he has. He's coming out of broken tackles. You're going to see that is the corner. The right corner is going to fly in. There's a sit. There he is right there. And if you hit play and let it go till he breaks it to score, vision right there, gone. And then the breakaway speed to score the touchdown. It's unbelievable.
I knew it was impressive watching it live, but when you see right there, I mean, there's one. He makes that guy. I mean, that should be a tackle right there, right? I mean, it
should be. He should.
And then right here, that's another guy. It should easily. There's two guys within. I mean, the one guy's pushed right into him right there, and he still can't make the tackle. That's two. And then this. How is this guy missed the tackle right here?
Didn't wrap up, bounced off, and then the other thing is the guy that's stacked behind the initial tackler, which would be the boundary safety. Right, that's the low safety that's trying to make the tackle. He should be on the other side of Jeanty to vice him. So they got each hip to hip, half a body, make the tackle. He misfits it. And then there's the corner, number 1, who outruns it, and he just took it all the way back to the sideline. That play should have been running inside the wide receiver right there. He just cuts it all the way back to the opposite field, and they're not going to catch it. No chance in hell. Boom, boom, and it's done. It's a great double team on the backside, great finishes, great blocks, maintaining blocks. And then now the other great thing is that's your wide receiver number. I can't see his number very well, but he's coming in.
Your quarterback too.
Yeah, and he's escorting it. So if it just comes in and you don't throw a clip, you just give it a wave by, right? If you got to come across his face, you just throw your hands up and you run right by his face if anybody's there. But he's outrunning everybody.
All right. This is another one of his runs here. Defensively, what do we got here?
So this is actually an interesting front. So you got 2 doubles, 2-3 techniques, which outside shoulders of the guard. Okay. Now you got your 5 and your 5, your linebackers, which I thought this was really interesting right here is the placement of number 46, right? He's walking up in there, and now the center he just got to glob on, and you're in great shape. So if you hit play, okay. So he
Oh, that was the hurdle. You there, Brad? Might have lost Brad for a second. Look at this hurdle. Wow. Look at this hurdle right here. Oh, my goodness. All right, we'll see if we lost Brad. We may have lost Brad. Looks like we did lose Brad. We'll get him back there in a second. While we're waiting for Brad to jump back in, if you can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you here on Bronco Nation News. We are streaming on YouTube. We have almost 200 of you watching on YouTube. So if you can give us that like button, give us that subscribe button, we would really appreciate that on YouTube as we continue to build the channel. We are under 200 subscribers away from getting to 6,000. Help us get to 6,000 YouTube subscribers. The channel continues to take off. And if you can help us out, we would really appreciate that. We are trying to get the channel rolling here. So if you can help us out, hit that like button in the corner, hit the subscribe button to our channel. And we would love to have you join us here on Bronco Nation News as we do this every day. He'll be back. Someone said, bummer, loved hearing. We'll get him right back. There he is. We're back. There he is. There you are.
Wi-Fi. Love it.
That's all right. No worries. All right. So this was actually the hurdle that he had.
Yeah, the swing hurdle. So once again, so you can, if you expect this, it's really designed outside run. So you got the stock block by the tight end, okay, and then he sets him up. See how the corner, I believe it's the corner, he's coming in to break down. He's going to break down, tackle, everything's great right now. See how he's dropping his hips, wide base? He sees that. And then as a matter of fact, he's just starting the leap when he gets his pads too low, and he's like, okay, I'm just going to jump over you. It's unbelievable.
All right, this is one of his touchdowns down near the goal, I think about the 20-yard line or something.
Okay, this is a good one here too. So if you hit play real quick, we can actually give a back story on this one. Okay, so this is the play. Remember, they also ran a reverse versus Portland State. Right? They run the reverse versus Portland State off of orbit motion. So they're going to go orbit motion. So once he goes back, there's going to be a wide receiver go behind. That's just eye candy. Eye candy to make the linebackers think about something else. Okay, that's what's going to be important here. So if you hit play there, you're outmanned. Okay, so the center is going to have to ID to 52. He's going to have to push it to 52. The backside's going to have to come all the way to 0. Okay, and then you have the tight end who's going to come back, and he needs to block 15. So everybody who's listening, the tight end that's coming back, you can see he's coming back towards Albertson Stadium, heading to the quarterback. Number 15 is not coming up the field. That makes that a tough block. There's not going to be much surface on it. Okay, but Great job by by Dooley. Okay, Ben Dooley getting the movement on 92. You have the tight end fitting up number 4. The other the tackle is beating number 3 to oblivion. Once again, backside. The backside tackle's getting washed. He's about to run up on Dooley's behind. The tackle's going to climb up to 0. Okay. Number 52 is running himself out of this right now because it's such a great job. Okay. On number 1.
I'm still looking at this, Brad, going, how the heck does this get anything for positive yardage? Where's the hole?
There is none. Well, there's about to be. So if you hit the tackle's he sees it. See how he's starting the cutback? If you look at his eyes, okay, if you look at Jeanty's eyes, his eyes are on 0 right now. So he has an understanding. So now the A gap's closed by the center driving by. The backside A gap's closed by number 0. The tackle's going to wash him by. What I talked about is that it's a hard block by number 15 or by the tight end. Who is the tight end?
Louder, 85.
Lowry. That's a hard block because there's no surface. So now he missed it. But look at the pad level and the foot drive to miss that tackle. Everybody wants tall running backs. We talked about that. Tall running backs don't have a low center of gravity. That's a low center of gravity. And then the willingness to finish. The finish, bounce. Nope, that's a free hitter. I'm scoring. The will and the strength of Jeanty, okay, and the vision is what gets this done with a great job by the O-line, washing everybody out and dominating on the second level. That's domination by 4 and the O-line. It's great. It's unbelievable.
Man.
It's impressive.
Just to knock here's another one here. This is one of the long ones.
Okay, this is a great one. Okay, so we talked about how, if you pause it there, we talked about how, hey, how do you stop Jeanty? You stop by playing cover 1. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is an 8-man box. Okay, 4.
By the way, people were ripping on 52 on that last clip. They said, where was he headed to the Boise airport already?
Yeah, exactly. So if you look at an 8-man box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you got 7 O-linemen plus the wide receiver 9. Okay, so somebody has going to be free. You just don't have it is what it is. Okay, so if you hit play on this one, you got Dooley in the center are going to work up to the linebacker left of the hash. 78 and 65 are going to work up to the linebacker on the right hash, number 0. So if you can rewind that, this is what's important. I want everybody to understand. So if you hit pause right now, this is what's important about if you're watching football and all that and say, hey, O-linemen don't get up to the second level. Okay, what 88 does to the defensive end, he crashes down to close that C gap. So the backside tackle has no chance of getting up to 0. Good design. They're going to hit that gap. You have the edge guy to close the outside, and 0 should be free by their design of the defense. Okay, the tackle's not getting up. He can't. He's about to get pinned when you watch it. 0 is going to play over the top, and then watch what happens.
All right.
65's pinned. That's done. Louder's going to go kick out the other one. Right then and there, we talked about before this game, before a lot of games, we talked about how great Jeanty is breaking a one-on-one tackle. It doesn't get more one-on-one than this. And is he accounted for? Yes. But with a tackle getting pinned, he's not going to get there. It's unbelievable. Here we go. Look at him. You can't wrap him up. That strength stops his feet. Look, watch the one-on-one contact. Watch with the linebacker, his legs buckle. He's done right now. His legs are now buckled. No foot drive, no running through the tackle. That's unbelievable. Stiff arm, get off me. No, done, get off me. Great downfield block. Great downfield block.
That's Austin Bolt.
Austin Bolt. Great downfield block. And then this is just speed and all that take over. But though there's your one-on-one. We've talked about it in pregame. We talked about how he needs to win one-on-ones when they happen. That's what's creating all this yardage. That's a -1 yard gain. And it's not, you can't blame the lineman. He got pinned. The tackle got pinned. It happens. He's just, he wins one-on-one tackles. He wins it. He wins battles. And I want to shout out Louder right there. Okay, too, because it's impressive. That's a holding call a lot. He didn't set his hands great. I'll give you that. But how many times have you seen a tight end or a tackle pull on what would be his left arm, and this guy, the sideline judge, just pulls the flag and says holding? No holding. He bounces it out. He didn't know that play should be inside of it. That's why his head position is inside.
The play is designed for Jeanty to go to the left of Matt Louder there.
Absolutely, because we expected that tackle to get to 0. He didn't. And he never would have. He just got pinned. And they get washed. Which is fine. It happens. But it's just he won the one-on-one.
88 Wagner had a nice, the other tight end had a nice, was coming in there from the right side too. I'd give him a little credit.
Yeah. I mean, it's Dooley. He's just whooping that guy.
All right. One more clip here. This is the long, the other long touchdown run. Set this one up here.
Hit play real quick. Counter. Okay, here we go. Talked about this one. If you can rewind this is actually a great clip. So counter. So the right guard and right tackle, they're going to double team 99 to 52. Okay, block back on 92 by the center. Pulling guard has 20. The tight end has really 0, right? And when you think counter, and everybody who's coaching, think, hey, counter is we're going to leave 2 for the pullers. So now the double team can go back to 52. Pull the guard, block back on the center, pick and hinge by the tackle. Perfect. You're going to see, I believe we're on the right hash. Yeah, there's going to be a corner, somebody pop up here. So the guard is going to log 20. So right then and there, right now with the way 20 is playing it, that tight end's going to come around and get 0. So he didn't kick him out, so the play's going to bounce 1 hole wider. Okay?
So your left guard is pulling here. Your tight end's coming to block.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then
there's Dooley. He's the left guard, but on this view, he's to the right of the center. And he's lined up against 92, so he's pulling.
He's pulling for 20. And then
tight end comes.
Tight end's coming. So if you keep playing it and then pause it right now. Okay. You log here. You got the tight end for 0. There's 32. You don't have anybody for 32, especially not at the depth that he's coming. Okay. You can't push crack him. You can't, the wide receiver won't get there. Okay. So that's a one-on-one right there. So one-on-one's either happening with 0, depending at the tight end, he's going to get 0. He logged him. That's going to bounce it 1 hole wider. 32 is the one-on-one. And look at his body position.
He's already fallen over.
He's done. He's done. And he's staring at him. He's staring at him. Jeanty is staring at him right now. Nope. Okay. I got to go 1 hole wider, stiff arm, foot drive. He's even lost a yard or 2. 0's got no shot. Once again, look at 17. Play ball. Play ball. Get on that inside shoulder and just run him by. And he'll cut right off of his behind.
And the crazy thing is, like, that was one part of, like, there's a lot more to go on this clip.
There's a lot more to go. It's not even close. So he doesn't get there. Okay, doesn't get there. Keeps playing. That's iffy. I'd rather him shield him, but hands out. He got the shoulder tip, but that's okay. Okay, he stopped, but he made the running back cut back inside to 10 other players. He did a job, cut back to 10 other players. 0 misses that tackle. Okay, great job. Downfield blocking by 83. Here we go. He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. Shield him. Good. That's a really good job. It's not a big block, but it is a big block. Didn't shove him to the ground. A referee's never going to call that. He's just shielding him.
And the vision there to cut back from Jeanty too. He could have tried to keep going towards the sidelines.
He could have, but he
open space to the left there, but he sees that there's better opportunity maybe to get further to cut back in.
There's no doubt in my mind he's seeing the whole field. So he cuts back there. Okay. Now you'd like the ball to be a little tucked into the body. You don't want to swing the ball out. But now here we go. He sees him. Number 1. Okay.
Look at his eyes. He's right on him the whole way.
He's right on him. He understands full view where his problems are. He knows he's outrun 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. So there's the one-on-one. Sees him. Stiff arm him. The guy tries to clear the stiff arm right there. Okay. Does a pretty good job. Wraps him up.
There is no way this should be a touchdown.
No chance. There isn't a chance in hell that should be a touchdown. Spins him. This is funny, I think. Spins him. Falls off. In falling off and not wrapping up properly, falls off, trips the other guy. He's about to trips him.
And then just also to know like where the goal line is.
Yeah. He's going to extend the ball. Now, that's something not everybody can do. It's also not something you never want to extend the ball, because if the ball just happens to fall out and get in the end zone, it's a touchback.
Yep.
If whoever recovered, right? If Washington State would have recovered, it's touchback. So really, do you want to extend the ball? No. But look at the pogo. Watch his right arm. It's awesome. Right when he gets to the if you keep coming, watch it's like a pogo stick. That arm right there keeps him above ground. He straightens his body to extend the ball.
So if you're Washington State and they're doing this on the flight back and they're doing this, Sunday, Monday, like how much of this is just bad defense versus how much, which we've obviously seen some guys missing their gaps and things like that, but how much of this is just Ashton Jeanty can make you look really bad?
Ashton Jeanty make you look really bad if you are not tackling. If your fundamentals of tackling are not there, you're in deep trouble. It's just you're in deep trouble. And then that's the one we saw before.
What's your favorite run out of the 4 or 5 we saw? I restarted. I'll just play them live one more time. But this one or the last one, it was funny. I thought this one was really impressive. And then somebody said something about the last one on social media. It was like, oh, that's one of the best runs you'll see. A Reggie Bush-esque. I'm like, well, go back and watch the first one again. I
actually like this one the best, is because it shows. Is this the one? Is this the touchdown? Yeah, it's this one I like the best, because it shows everything he's capable of doing. Vision, low center of gravity, breaking tackles, running through tackles, the explosion he has in an open field. Okay, the other thing, and I'm not going to say it. I'm not. And it's not, I wasn't going to say anything bad. I believe in karma, and I don't want to curse anything. So I'm not going to say it. I'll tell you off, because I don't, whenever it's like, you never talk about a no-hitter during a no-hitter. You don't want to talk about, you never want to talk about when ball security is great, when you don't want to start a problem. So I don't want to put that on anybody. That's bad. It's just bad luck by me.
Let's switch to the defense and show 2 clips there here in just a second as well. But first, do want to remind you about Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out October 19th, 11 to 2. They're going to have their NIL guys doing a little party event thing. You can go meet Jonah Dalmas, Matt Lauder, Ahmed Hassanin, and Andrew Simpson the Saturday of the bye week from 11 to 2. So make sure you go check that out at Lithia Ford of Boise. Taco Bell, you looking for a job? They're hiring. TacoBellWorks.com, all the Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations. Again, free food while you work, half your wages the next day after your shift, and you get great promotional opportunities, a fun work environment. If you're looking for a job, check out Taco Bell. And if you're looking for some great food, check them out as well. We appreciate the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family, all the freestanding Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations. I know you have a lot of food options in town, but make sure you take the family to Taco Bell. You will not be disappointed. Transportation compliance service. If you're looking to get into the trucking industry, they're a locally based company helping folks all over the world. They're signing up over 50 accounts a day, and they'll take care of all the paperwork, everything you need to get out there, whether it's applying to start your own trucking company, to be your own, boss, or work for another company. They can get you the permits and things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. The Blue and Orange store, you got your orange shirt. I had to go to the Blue and Orange store yesterday, Brad, and buy both my sons a new orange shirt for the Orange Out on Saturday. So make sure you head over to the Blue and Orange store. They got that clearance rack in the front. Great options. They got the game day orange t-shirts ready to go for you. All kinds of options. So check out the Blue and Orange store at the Boise Town Square Mall, the second floor there next to Pro Image, or you can go online at theblueandorangestore.com. Our friends at Lean Feast, I'll be having one of those shortly here. 10,000 plus combinations, healthy eating options, all kinds of diets, and they deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. So no excuse to not eat healthy. They deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. And again, chicken, steak, shrimp, you name it. You go on in there. It's good in your microwave. You know, it's good in the refrigerator for 5 days, and it only takes 2 minutes in the microwave, and you're good to go. So someone that works in an office building or something and don't have time or don't want to go eat out every day, highly recommend Lean Feast. Take that lunch with you, pop it in the microwave, and you are good to go. And we're going to talk defense here in a second, and Ahmed Hassanin, part of that. 91 cents, you get a coffee or a fountain drink when he gets a sack, and that is on Mondays after a game. So that's 3 weeks in a row, Brad, 3 games in a row where Ahmed Hassanin has gotten folks discounted coffee or fountain drinks on Monday. So make sure you check out Jackson's, our sponsor of the Riley and Ridge Show and a sponsor here at Bronco Nation News, Jackson's. And we appreciate their support. Make sure you check out their tailgate on Saturday. They'll be out there several hours before the game. We'll be doing our show over at the James. They got all kinds of great stuff going on over there at the tailgate. And it's right across the street there on the corner, Broadway and University, I guess it is right there. So make sure you check them out. And again, 3 hours before kickoff, drink specials, free samples, giveaways, Jackson's swag, all kinds of stuff. They got a food truck serving up hot food, cornhole boards, all kinds of stuff. So stop by, have a drink, get some free stuff at Jackson's, then come see us out there on the corner outside the James on Broadway. We'll be doing our show and had a lot of shout outs and things last week. We're looking forward to doing that again. And Brad, we're going to show the defensive clip here in a second. I mentioned this yesterday. I did just post the story before the show at BroncoNationNews.com. People can go read it, but they got kind of a cool, this whole NIL era and trying to do new things that have never been done before and all this. Well, they were able to figure this out and get it cleared and get it legal and be able to do this. And I think it's going to spread to other position groups, and I think it's going to spread to other teams. But Boise State got the defensive line. They have through the Horseshoe Collective. They took donations over the summer, and it was kickstarted by former defensive linemen at Boise State who pledged their number at Boise State in terms of dollars for every sack that happened at Boise State this season by the defensive line. So just like Scott Matlock, number 99. Every time the Boise State defensive lineman gets a sack, Scott Matlock donates $99 to the pot here. And all these other defensive linemen, Sam McCaskill, they're all doing this. They're still taking donations from the general public or a pledge. You can jump on this $10 per sack. Now, they have 20 sacks, but it's got to be a defensive lineman. So 11 and a half sacks this year are from defensive linemen. But the way they can do this is the money goes into the pot, and all 20 defensive linemen on the roster, whether you're Ahmed Hassanin or whether you're the freshman that's never played a snap all season, they split the money evenly at the end of the season. And they have to go to a Idaho Food Bank event as part of an NIL deal to make this all fit. But they go, essentially every sack, if you want to add it up right now with the pledges they have, every time there's a sack by a defensive lineman, every defensive lineman on the roster gets $35 at the end of the season. And so you add it up, every player has already earned over $400. And again, you may think, okay, right now $400, but if you're the freshman walk-on, $400 is $400, and you project that out over the course of the season here, if they keep up this current pace, you're talking $1,500 per defensive lineman at the end of the season once they complete this Idaho Food Bank event. And right now the number is $700 total per sack, and they divide that by 20. So every time there's a Boise State sack, there's been $700 pledged by these former players and by some of these other, fans. And you can still donate to the cause. Go to BroncoNationNews.com, read my story. It's through the Horseshoe Collective. But because it's not incentivizing certain players or has nothing to do with playing time, everyone's splitting the money. And because there's a event tied to this with the Idaho Food Bank, it's in this NIL era, it's legal. And so you can legally reward with money performance on the field. And it's pretty crazy. And you could do this with touchdowns for quarterbacks. You could do pancake blocks for linemen. You could do, receptions, or, you could do interceptions for DBs. Like you could add, in the future seasons, they want to get other former players involved. And I think that's the cool part, that the former players are involved in this and kick-started this. And so my full story is available at BroncoNationNews.com. But as we're going to show some of these sacks, and just remember here moving forward, every time there's a sack by a defensive lineman, that's literally cash at the end of the season going into their pocket. Pretty cool.
That's really cool. That's good. I mean, it's alumni stepping up for the current players and taking pride of their football program and where they came from and where they graduated from. I mean, that's a special thing that's NI. That's what it's for, right? It's not for $4 million for a freshman quarterback. I think that is very special. And Actually, it actually connects that brotherhood even more. And that's a way to connect former athletes with current athletes. And I also like, and it shows you the class of the former players saying, hey, we're going to give you the money, but you know what? You're also going to donate your time back to the food bank. And so now
that's part of what makes it legal in terms of the NIL part of it too. But yeah, it is a cool charity component to it as well.
Right. But I mean, legal, not legal, all that, but the kids will show up and now they're going to give back and doing their time and donate their time. And
Logan said that NIL I can get behind.
I agree with you 100%. The other thing is, you only have a certain amount of time and time's precious. And I think sometimes when you give your time is a lot better than giving $100 somewhere. Right. And anybody who says it's not a lot of money, I'll take you an extra $400 every now and then. Money's money.
Yep. All right. Let's go a little quicker on the defensive plays here.
This will be a lot quicker, actually.
50 minutes in, but let's try to see what we got here with some of these defensive plays. I know there were a couple sacks that you wanted to break down here. This is a 7-7 game, first quarter. This video is courtesy of Fox Sports 1 off YouTube, so it's probably going to cost us to lose a little money here, but that's all right. What are we seeing here?
4 down front. They're playing cover 1. You can see the boundary safety. So Albertson's stadium logo is completely done, right? But what's key about this is the fit of the blitz. So you're gonna have your defense go underneath. You're gonna have a defensive one and closest to us going to go underneath the tackle. You got your pressure coming off of his edge, the boundary edge. Now the back is going to come in. We talked about last week keeping him in the pocket because he was a great runner. We talked about this, right? Regardless of great job playing man, the corner is going to take one. That's going to close the slant off. And he's going to come out and maybe now he's got to take off and run. This was the problem. This is what we thought could be a problem for Boise State's defense. Safety does an unbelievable job keeping him in the pocket. All my 11 guys are right there. Now you have overall just hard playing with the defensive end coming all the way across. Now we've got him viced. He's got nowhere to go. It's done. Sack. Done. That's a great job just playing overall. Now look at the difference between the tackling, right? They're wrapping up. They're driving for 5. Where we just watched Washington State tackle, they're bouncing off ping pong balls, not wrapping up properly. That's a great job. That's good overall defensive play.
All right, we'll let this play one more time. Then we go to another play here. This is back-to-back sacks, I believe. Set this one up for us right here. Well,
should be right in the next play.
Crowd's pumped up, and for good reason there.
Pumped up. So now you got 3rd and 9. So now they're going to walk up. Okay, everybody's up. Not a linebacker in sight. Okay, you got your safeties. Everybody's playing off. Okay, so hit play. We said confuse and pressure the quarterback. They're showing an all-out blitz. They're not going to do it. Look at Toomer. He popped. So he's going to have the flat.
All 3 guys popped. Simpson and Oladipo too.
Yep. So confusing, right? He thought it was going to be some type of zero man. Okay. Pop, pop, pop. Now you got to rely, hey, when you got 4 across and all your linebackers and Toomer, your safety is down on the line of scrimmage, you're like, hey, guys, we got to get out of here. We need to pressure this quarterback. Okay. They run a little TT game inside.
By the way, they have it's 6 on 4. You have 4 guys. It's a 4-man rush, and you have a running back staying in the block, and they still end up getting a sack here.
Right. So now you got your TT inside. So if you hit play, boom, your boundary or your field defensive end. So he's the one on, what is that? The 21-22. He's going to rip through the tackle. The tackle's going to open it up his hip right there. It's done. So now the quarterback, he feels that. That's pressure. He's feeling that. So now he's going to have to step up. Okay, so now we talked about if you're going to make the quarterback step up, you got to crush the pocket. You got to crush the pocket for inside. Keep him in the pocket. You're going to see the defensive lineman on the 25-yard line. There it is right there. He beats the guard. Now we got pressure. Now the pocket's going to condense. Keeping him in the pocket, sack right now.
Now you would think you would look and say, okay, if he can bounce this outside, he's got some room.
Which, remember, we talked about that in the pregame show, is if the defensive end get run around the quarterback, that's going to open up that B gap. But because of the pressure from the opposite side, and we're wrapping, and Boise State, they're wrapping up. He can still get out of that. 98 is he's the looper in the TT stunt, right? So that's his job. His job is to create everything to come back around to keep him in. He's done.
And as you said, as opposed to the Washington State film, Herbert Gums has him one-on-one here and makes the tackle.
One-on-one, wrapped him up, and it's a good tackle. It's a good sack. And what back-to-back sacks in a 7-7 ball game, that's a big thing. 3rd and 9, now you're punting from what? I know there, but field position-wise, you just really helped. We talked about hidden yardage too. So that could act better field position for the offense. So there's your hidden yardage right there. That right there could have it stopped them on 3rd, but it also hidden yardage could have cost Boise State an extra 10 in field position.
And after this, you see Herbert Gums right there. Even if he were to miss the tackle, look at the pursuit of the other guys coming in. He wasn't getting very far, even if he got by him.
You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys within this frame, right? Well, remember we talked about you had 3 drop into coverage. So now they planted and came back and saw the pockets breaking down, ball's not going to come out. We're going to stay in coverage, secure that sack's going to happen. Now we're going to rally to the football. And that's just great team defense. And I thought it was important, when we were talking last night, we talked about Jeanty a lot and how great he is, but you're leading the country in sacks. Let's get some focus on the defense and how they improved. And that's why I like Shenander. He got up and says, I've done some things. I need to improve. We need to improve. And now we're seeing it. And sacks create less explosive plays.
Again, check out online the Horseshoe Collective. You can email if you're interested in jumping in on that deal, by the way. They're still taking pledges for the sacks. You can email horseshoecollectiveintern@gmail.com. Horseshoecollectiveintern@gmail.com. Brad, because we're short on time, we'll save most of your Utah State prep for the pregame show. But you got one quick thought on Utah State for us here?
Okay. Here's one. Mountain West is 11th out of 12 in rush defense.
I was going to say, I think on the pregame or on the postgame show, you said you described them as a one word that rhymes with grass. I don't know what your thoughts are today.
I don't think it's a phenomenal football team defensively. Okay. They're ranked 114th nationally in rush defense, and they're giving up 196 yards a game.
So they have a bad time stopping the run against one of the premier running backs we've seen in several years.
Yes, and they're 9th passing. So defensively, that's where they've kind of struggled a little bit.
So Boise State should be able to put up some points.
I would hope so. I mean, you have the cliche cut down turnovers and all that, but if you're looking at it on paper, and I haven't seen a whole lot of film on them, but they just played a Washington State team that on paper is supposed to be a good tackling football team, all that. And then we witnessed and watched and broke down that. So I think Utah State, if their defensive coordinator is probably not getting much sleep this week.
Yeah, I would expect numerous defensive coordinators aren't getting much sleep against Boise State the week before they play them. But Brad, we appreciate your time as always. Saturday we'll be out, I think 2:00, 2:30, somewhere around there. Should be a fun afternoon. 5:00 start. So folks want to come by the James Kitchen and Bar. We'll be out front on Broadway again on Saturday about 2:00. And should be another fun day. And as I said, maybe in the past, these are the games that weren't that exciting. Oh, they're going to win by 30, 40, whatever. But with number 2 in the backfield, man, I think there's a lot. I think everyone should be there and not want to miss a play.
No doubt. And it's Parents Weekend.
Yep. And I want to talk to you on Saturday, too, about Jeanty's pursuit of history versus they're up by 30 at halftime, get him out of the game. I think there's some discussion there about just how this could be a game where you may not need him in the second half, but if he's, got a chance at Barry Sanders, single season rushing record here, do you give him some carries? Let's save that discussion for you and Rid on Saturday and how you guys as coaches treat that. And if there's any thought at all given to stats and Heisman and performance and all that versus we're up 35-7 at halftime, no need to play him. Let's discuss that on Saturday, but appreciate you as always, Brad. Thanks everybody for checking us out. Go subscribe if you can. Again, BroncoNationNews.com is the website, BroncoNationNews.com. And again, subscribe if you can. $50 for a full year using that promo code BNN50 deal. At worst, give us at least a like and a subscription here on YouTube. That's free of charge. And again, you're watching this show for free on YouTube, so please support the sponsors that we've told you about throughout the show and make this thing keep going here. So appreciate you, Brad. Thanks to our commenters. Thanks to our advertisers. Again, we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. We'll have Jay Tuss with me 9 a.m. tomorrow, and then we'll have the pregame show Saturday around 2 o'clock down from the James. So thanks a lot. Thanks to from the Western Collective Studios. Make sure you pick up that Horseshoe Golden Ale or the Orange Chaos Seltzer inside Albertson Stadium on Saturday. For our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. He's Brad Bedell. I'm BJ Rains. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News live here at bronconationnews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by rowpaint.com, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, by Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Western Collective, by Jackson's, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, by Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and by Timberstone Golf Course.